You're probably looking for the Sunday podcast. Unfortunately, the Sunday podcast doesn't exist anymore. Welcome to Cantocracy, where we deconstruct political elite speak. This week, Paul Ryan, Week 1. Welcome back to Cantocracy, where we deconstruct political elite speak. We've got a great show ahead of us, and we've got an even better cast here. Starting out all the way to my left, maybe your left as well, Frank Heathington.
I am going to be eating some Applewood smoked cheddar, hand-wrapped or hand-basted in paprika during this whole cast.
You better have brought enough for everyone. Just to his side, Jeff Wheeler.
Howdy, how's everybody doing? I don't have cheese. I wish I did.
And then myself, Tom Holm. Thank you for coming, everyone. So today we're going to be talking about Paul Ryan, Week 1, and our impressions. Obviously, Paul Ryan being chosen as the vice presidential candidate to run with Mitt Romney. Maybe not a surprise choice, maybe a surprise choice. But really we want to look at the first week of him actually on the platform. What have been the responses? What's been our reaction to how it's going? So let's first get it out on the table. That's a handsome man.
I love his biceps.
No, seriously. It has become a thing in the world to talk about Paul Ryan and his attractiveness. I read today that it was actually reached into the top 10 of Google search requests. Was Paul Ryan shirtless? Who does that?
Oh, Lord.
I guess it's the same people who are watching Twilight, maybe? The same crew? Same crowd?
Does he glisten in sunlight? Maybe that's the problem.
Does he sparkle? He has to sparkle.
I couldn't tell you. I haven't seen his shirtless photos.
Every time I see him on the TV, I see sparkles.
Had we done the same thing for the last Republican vice presidential candidate, it would have gotten in the news a little bit more.
That is sexist, Jeff.
I wonder what it's going to do for P90X sales, too. I wonder if we're going to see a spike.
You know, there's a lot of things that are spiking up, apparently. The folks that do noodling, which he's also been reported to participate in noodling, which is the act of sticking your hand into a muddy hole and pulling out a catfish after it has decided to bite you.
Get your hand all the way in him. 2 hands. You got 2 hands? I'm going to bear hug him. Shit, it's going to take my...
I'll take him, dude, if you
don't let him go. You got 2 hands in him?
You got it.
You got 2 hands in his mouth.
Hey, you're
in his mouth.
You're all right,
yeah.
Tommy. Get him. That's some buck, dude. That sucker's all my way. Get that son of a bitch out of there. Go! Get him out of there. That's some buck.
And that's how you catch the fish. But they say it's a very tight-knit community, and that if they were to just get a few hundred people join the community, it would be a very significant change in the way that they did things. So they would certainly notice as the people are more interested from the...
Great. There's going to be a noodling bar in Brooklyn at some point, and all the people are going to go there and noodle.
This is my
word. It's going to be the new bocce ball, noodling.
No, I had to say, this is why this podcast is awesome, because we can translate noodling into fiscal responsibility and how awesome Ron Paul Ryan's budgets are.
Yeah? Okay, so go for it.
I don't know anything about his budget. All I know, he wants to kill Granny. Because that's what the media tells me.
So let's break into that for a second. He was someone who grew up on public assistance. He spent a good bit of his time of his formative years.
Really?
Really, look it up.
His father was a lawyer, dude.
He went
to
to
upper income family.
He went to school on a scholarship, a government scholarship, and then somebody, I believe it was his mother, I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was somebody that was in his immediate family that was on government assistance for a significant portion of their life.
Did you get that off WikiLeaks?
No.
Because I don't buy it.
All right, well, don't believe anything you hear until you've researched it and proven it to yourself to be true.
I know I don't. Paul Ryan and the Budget. This would be, and
sounds like an awesome band. And now, Paul Ryan and the Budget.
That would be great.
Paul Ryan
some more
and the Budget
Applewood
cutter.
smoked bacon paprika cheese, Frank. I will.
Paul Ryan and the Budget Cutters. Yeah, that sounds like a...
Paul Ryan and the Budget Cutters. That's the new...
sounds like a carny group from southern Alaska.
Didn't they used to have a barbershop group that all the senators would sing in?
What do you think of the Capitol Steps? Yeah, I don't think that was... I think that was...
Was it House members?
That might have
Congressional
been
Quartet.
Band 2. I don't know who they were. We'll look it up later.
We'll look it up later on the podcast.
The Singing Senators were a group of U.S. Republican senators who sang as a barbershop quartet. It was John Ashcroft, Larry Craig, James Jeffords, and Trent Lott. Oh, God, that sounds horrible.
Trent Lott as the baritone.
One of the best responses this week was good old crazy Uncle Joe. You love him. I love him.
Keep
His
him in the
Thunderbird loves him. Crazy Uncle Joe, in a speech, basically said, what was the line? He said the GOP is going to put you back in chains, or put you in chains. Which
put you back in chains, yeah.
Put you back in chains, which a lot of people took to be a reference to the GOP was going to enslave you.
He's going to let the big banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Romney quickly taking aim at that Biden moment and at the president's campaign.
Wild and reckless accusations that disgrace the office of the presidency.
Interesting statement, interesting response. Even more interesting response, which I hadn't heard, was Jeff, a little bit of censoring going on, correct?
Yeah, this week Biden was called to a meeting at the White House with the president. They saw each other in a public thing, bunch of cameras, and then they went and spoke in private. And since that private meeting, all of the public appearances for Joe Biden are currently canceled. So there are no scheduled public appearances for Joe Biden on the calendar at all. So that doesn't happen in a political arena with an important politician, especially one who's running as the vice presidential candidate, unless there is something going on behind the scenes. Something going on such as he's either dealing with some large donors and having to service what their requests are, or he is in timeout.
Actually, I figured out what happened because I'm pretty good friends with Jake Tapper on Twitter. And what happened was they're going to put Condoleezza Rice on the Democratic ticket as vice president.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
But Jay Carney came out in a public statement early this week that says, let me put all this stuff to bed. The ticket is Obama-Biden. That is the ticket.
Period.
Period.
Like forward, period.
Okay.
That's his slogan. That's the campaign. Forward, period. Look, I'm serious.
You know what's going to be the next time? I hope the next time we see Uncle Joe isn't going to be a debate, because I'd love to see Uncle Joe before that. But I have to admit that VP debate may actually end up being more interesting than the presidential debates.
Oh man, I certainly enjoyed it last cycle. Whenever can I call you Joe?
Yeah, this could be a bloodbath.
Be afraid! Sparta will burn to the ground! This is blasphemy! This is madness!
Madness.
Yeah.
This is going to be full contact sport.
It's going to be just like seeing old Ross Perot go against the Bushes.
Oh, good old Ross.
All right, what you got here? You got to do this, and then you got to do this, and then you got to do this.
That's what's missing from the political spectrum these days.
Characters.
If you think about it, though, as a ticket as a whole, and this is what I understand about the media right now, is how everyone keeps saying it's such a risky pick, or Ryan is, he's so not what Romney would usually do because he's such a conservative guy when it comes to making selections, and it's methodical and calculated. But making a pick with Paul Ryan just seems, I don't know, it just seems out of the box for him. Well, if you think about it, what it would make sense to me, I feel like, at the end of the day, I feel like Romney's a businessman. And I would think that, I think Paul Ryan is an 8-term senator or 8-term congressman.
14 years in the Congress.
Okay, so 7 years.
7 terms.
So, a lot of people have been saying he's like one of the nerds in the Congress. How he's like really analytical, and how and don't get me wrong. This is what I admire about Paul Ryan. He actually has a plan. You can yell at him, debate it, whatever you want to talk about, but the man actually went out on a ledge and said, "Look, it is not fiscally responsible for this country to not start to solve some form of the entitlement programs that this country is going through." Yep. I think at the end of the day, that is what the debate is going to become in this election cycle. It's not going to be, and this is the problem I keep having, is you have the Democratic side and those people and the experts and how their campaign's being run, because, in my opinion, Obama really doesn't have a record to run on. So they keep throwing all these negative attitudes and crap and blah, blah, blah out there and try to let it stick to the wall on something. But if you look at the Republican ticket, at least they're trying to show something with the American public. Hey, look, this is what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to change the tone going forward in this election cycle. It's only 2.5 months left, and this is the time period where people actually start paying attention. It's not like me and the rest of this crowd that will follow politics ad nauseum since, like, the last 22 months, we actually get, normal people start following the election.
Yeah.
Frank, I want to jump in and just kind of close out on something that you just said, which was changing the tone. And that's what we're trying to do here on Kentocracy, is change the tone, deconstruct the language, really get down to what's being said. So thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed our ramblings and our musings, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Who knows what we're talking about? Maybe Crazy Uncle Joe, maybe Condoleezza Rice, maybe more Paul Handsome Man Ryan.
Wisconsin cheese, I love you.
This week's podcast brought to you partly by CK Coachworks out of Cape Town, South Africa. If you need your panels beat, that's the shop to go to. Go see our friends at CK Coachworks, where you can get your truck panel beat.
So I want to quickly talk about something that pisses me off that probably shouldn't piss me off, but still pisses me off all the same. I just learned yesterday that 50 Shades of Grey combined, the three books, 1, 2, 3, have sold more worldwide than all the Harry Potter books combined. Dear God, why? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with everyone? If you read that book, I actually feel like, having started to read the first book, I feel like I started to unlearn how to read because my brain was trying to protect me from that book. It pisses me off. It probably shouldn't, but it does.
I think it should.
750 million copies? It sold more than that?
Next time we're going to do the same thing next week. Look forward to it. But something to think about over this next 7 days. Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan is an anagram for My Ultimate Ayn Rand Porn. Come back. Tune in next time on Kentocracy. And since this week is a pilot, we need to know what you think. Please let us know at Sunday Podcast on Twitter. If you think that this is the right format for us, or any feedback, we would love to hear from you just as much as you can. Thank you.
And cheese suggestions.
sun.